Well, hello everybody and good evening. This is meteorologist Andrew Pinero. I hope you enjoyed that little 80s bit of music. Raymond, I know you requested that and I enjoy it as well. And yes, you're talking about that Jersey tornado. So yes, that caught me off guard today. And also, cheers everybody. The drink of the night is a specialty of mine. I made it myself, called the Daiquatini. A strawberry daiquiri mixed with a martini. That's the martini glass, so the Daiquatini. And yes, now that I said that online, I copyright that. And Delvin, yes, tornado in western New Jersey, although I don't think it was confirmed. I'm just pulling up my tabs. So let's see if they did confirm it or not yet. And I am also just refreshing everything. I see some winter weather advisories around Albany. Yes, it pretty much caught everyone off guard. Yeah, the because it caught even the National Weather Service Storm Prediction Center off guard. Anybody that did have a NOAA weather radio didn't really get an alert because they didn't issue a tornado alert. Just seeing, going through my tab, I'm trying to find the storm reports. Because the storm reports are usually where they would post if there was a confirmed tornado or not. All right, let's take a look. Oh, I know it's not on the screen yet. I'm just trying to pull it up. But Delvin, Raymond, hello, and how are you both doing? You were using radar scope too, so I was using radar scope, and I was only focused really on the tri-state area, which didn't really include that area, that Mercer County area in Jersey. So I didn't see it because it's just south of the area. Public reported quarter-sized hail in Toms River. And here are the two in Mercer. Now let me bring this on over. Yeah, it's good that Mount Holly did get it out, but it was late. All right, let me bring that up. So, there we go. Cool. So here, tornado reports, no reports received. We have a Lawrenceville in Mercer County and a Pennington in Mercer County. No comments. It looks like just the county itself. So that was it there. Now let's go straight to the SPC's homepage. Usually they would post something like that here, though I do not see it. Yeah, and that's where we just were. So it looks like nothing has been confirmed just yet because they still have to send out the team, the observation team from the Storm Prediction Center to confirm it was a tornado. Because even though there was damage, that doesn't necessarily mean it was a tornado. It could be straight line winds. It could have been a microburst. And yes, it did have the classic supercell signature. Although Raymond, actually, we could pull it up because I have the history. If there was a hook echo in there. So we'll pull that up in a second. I'll take a look at that. Let's bring up the good old radar scope. All right, so right here, it still shows the shear trace on radar scope here. So this goes from Lawrence, like the report said, through Lawrence and a little bit, looks like in Freehold. So let's backtrack. Do you know what time that was, Raymond? I'm going to just go based on, let's say, 3:20 p.m. Let's see. Oh, that looks like it. Here comes the main line of the storm. Oh, that looked like a hook. I'm not far enough. I need to go a little bit more out. Let's add an hour. I wish Radar Scope added the ability to use arrows on the keyboard instead of just clicking. There it goes. And right about here, I would say that's the start of the hook forming right there as it crossed from Pennsylvania into Jersey. And there is a pretty telltale hook. When we zoom in there, there's your hook right there. And that lines up pretty well with where the shear trace is. Yes, correlation coefficient. Yes, we'll take a look at that. And yes, not the SPC. The WFO, whether the local WFO or the Weather Forecast Office handles that. You're correct. The SPC just issues the warnings. Correlation coefficient history. To find a debris trail, let's take a look. I do like that I have all this history. So let's switch to correlation coefficient. Let's backtrack it a little bit. It was jumping. That's kind of weird. I think I saw it a little bit there. Right there. Yes, that was it. There. Where's my drawing tool? There's my drawing tool. Right there. Yes, I'm mixing up my terms tonight. Sorry. But right there. There is your debris ball. So that, based on everything the radar has to offer, is a tornado. But again, it cannot be confirmed based on just radar. That's where the Weather Forecast Office has to send a team out. Now, Raymond, do you know what the exact team is called? Because I know they have a name. I forgot what the exact name is. The observation team sent out by the Weather Forecast Office. Now, it looks like it was just maybe a little bit there. It was really just that one frame. So if there was, so it looks like maybe it was starting up a little bit there. There is most definitely a debris ball right there. Because that correlation coefficient anomaly lines up. That has to line up with the shear. You don't really, okay. I know there's a specific name for that team that does the surveying. Maybe it's just the survey team, but I'm pretty sure there's a specific name for that survey team. And then let's look at the velocity. Either that means it's very extreme shear. So purple will be here. That's quite a lot of shear. Let's say this light green, which would be, say, here. Let's say -50. So negative means it's away, I think, from the radar, versus positive is towards the radar. Stop. Okay, there we go. Okay, so -50 compared to that purple, which would be right about there, which is -118 miles per hour. So that means there was a 118-ish, 120 mile per hour winds. So that was 50, that was 60, 70 miles per hour of wind shear. That was most definitely enough for a tornado. According to all the data we've seen so far, it looks like there was a tornado. Oh, and Raymond, I just saw your other thing. SPC issues, mesoscale, and watches. Yep, so mesoscale will be the categorical stuff. Slight, moderate, high, all that stuff. And Delvin, just going back, I see your comment. You only pay attention to the Boston area? That's fine, because I only pay attention to the New York City area, really. And this was technically outside of the New York City area. But it's close enough that now it looks like from the last news station I was watching, a lot of the news stations are going to be talking about coming up at 11 p.m. We're probably not going to be on that late. But at 11 p.m.-ish, right around there, that's when the storms reports should be coming in, if this was a confirmed tornado or not. Yes, Delvin, very similar to that situation. Because it was definitely unprecedented, unexpected. So here, if I zoom in really close, these squares right there and here, this is called gate-to-gate shear. So basically, this is the highest the resolution of the radar can go. These are individual pixels of the radar. So it can't see anything smaller than this. But between these, which is called a gate, one of these is a gate, that's a gate, there's shear between these gates. So maybe between a 10-mile radius here. Actually, I could pull up the distance counter here. Let's go from here to here. Not even. So that one of these squares is about 0.1 miles. So within a tenth of a mile, there was a difference between 120 mile per hour winds and 50 mile per hour winds. Now, there's also two types of shear. There's directional shear and speed shear. This was a speed shear situation where they're both going in the same direction, but at different speeds. The purple was the 120 miles per hour, and the green was about 50 miles per hour. Now, what causes very, very intense tornadoes is when you have directional shear going in opposite directions. So that opposite direction kind of movement causes that rotation to spin up very rapidly. Versus here, if you have two different levels, say one's going faster than the other, they kind of just have a little friction in between there. And that friction causes these little eddies in the atmosphere to form. And that little eddy is the spin up that is needed to create a tornado. So this radar time, 4:16 p.m. on February 21st, 2023. Since the Binghamton and Albany weather forecast offices are right next to each other, they do share a lot of information between each other. And again, let's just put this in motion. We see the path right there. There it is. Oh, maybe I was looking at the wrong thing. Hang on. Oh, I am looking at the wrong thing. Why is radar scope just being like this? Hang on. I was looking at... Nope, not that. I don't know what I was looking at, but right there. That. 335. Oh, what was I looking at? 416. Wait a second. This is a different image than we were just looking at. I don't know why radar scope is just being funky and I can't pause where I want to pause. Okay. Correction. It looks like the tornado started forming as, again, I mentioned this before, as it crossed the Pennsylvania-Jersey border. And then it really took place, or took shape right here. Now that is directional shear. We have right here the whites and the blues. That's, say, -60. And there's the gate, one gate and another gate. A gate and another gate right there. So we have, say, -60 miles per hour. That means it's moving away. Sorry, I think towards, away from the radar station at 60 miles per hour. And in the red, it's the darker red. So let's say we have around 15 to 20 miles per hour towards the radar station. I might mix those up, but either way, one's heading in one direction, 20 miles per hour in one direction. Think of these in math. We're going back to graphs and vectors. So in vectors, you have a direction, a speed with direction. That's the difference between just a line and a vector. All is related. So this vector here, we have a direction with a velocity. With the speed, that gives us the velocity right there. And then we have another direction. It's going away and towards. So here, right within these, I'd say 6 gates. That would be where the tornado is, somewhere right in there. And it depends again on the size of it. It could be very small right in there. It could be encompassing this whole square right there. Ah, that would be an interesting case study. If I was back in college and still doing a thesis, this might be something to take a look at. All right, so that is the velocity. Now that we have an appropriate time frame, let's go to correlation coefficient. Oh, that's where it was. So this is back at 416. There's not really any distinct debris ball. And then we go to reflectivity. Wait, did it just change the time on me? Hang on. It did. I did not change the time. We're back at 416. This is going back to 335. Right there, 335. Now, I go to reflectivity. And it changed to 416. That's so weird. 335. Okay, so that was the radar image at 335. And that's quite an intense storm going on there. There's a hook forming right in there. And then the hook kind of disappears a little bit going into here at that 335 time frame. And now let's look at the correlation coefficient. I don't know why the time is jumping every time I change the variable. So yeah, there is right in here. It's not a big debris ball, which it doesn't look like it's going to be a big tornado. But I would call this an area of suspicion or an area of concern that this could have been a debris ball. Yes, it could have become rain wrapped. So if it was rain wrapped, we wouldn't see on the correlation coefficient much of anything. And the rain wrapped tornadoes are dangerous because you can't see them. Like you said, you just can't see. The radar can't see them very well because of the rain. And your eyes can't see them very well because of the rain. Let's take a look at some vertically integrated. No, that's not the one. Hydrometeor classification. Actually, there's not much. Oh, it jumped again. Hang on, let's go back to the correct time. There we go. All right, what's yellow? Giant hail. So we have hail and rain. And then it goes straight from hail/rain to giant hail. I don't know what it classifies as giant hail. Raymond, since you said you've used radar scope, do you know what the classification for the size of the hail is for giant hail? My guess would be severe thunder. It's bigger than severe thunderstorm. Yes, that is correct too. But besides the no weather radio, do you know what the giant hail classification would be? Golf ball to baseball. Okay. So imagine being hit by a baseball-sized hail. That could be deadly. There's a huge area in the red there of just hail. And then we don't have large hail, and again, it goes straight to that giant hail. Does it stay there, or is it just that one frame? So it's just that one frame. 3:35 p.m. That's showing the large hail, which is probably where the tornado was. So my guess, it was a short but impactful tornado. And my guess, again, it would be an EF1 tornado. But that's just a guess because I'm not there. I don't see the damage. I've just heard reports of the damage. Actually, that's a good point. Let me bring up the guide for the enhanced Fujita scale. Let me just bring that up here. Sometimes it says what the damage is. This didn't do it. So I have the old one, which is just wind speed. On a second. Okay, here we go. All right, so this is from Wikipedia, so what you want with that? EF0, minor damage, small trees are blown down and bushes are uprooted, shingles are ripped off, windows in cars and buildings are blown out. Medium to large branches snapped off large trees, sheds are majorly damaged, and loose small items are tossed and blown away. So I think it was a little bit more than that. I believe it was the EF1. Moderate damage. Roofs stripped from shingles or planting. Small areas of roofs may be blown off, which I do know I've heard a report of a part of a roof of a house being blown off. Doors and garage doors blown in. Siding ripped off the house. Mobile homes flipped or rolled onto their side. Small trees uprooted. Large trees snapped or blown down. Telephone poles snapped. Outhouses and sheds blown away. Cars occasionally flipped or blown over. Moderate roof and side damage. Corn stalks slightly bent or stripped of leaves. So I believe that's what it is. I don't think it went to the area of the EF2. Considerable damage. Whole roofs are ripped off of the frames of the house. Interiors of framed homes damaged. Small, medium trees uprooted. Weak structures such as barns and mobile homes are completely destroyed. Did not hear any of that. So, I believe it's an EF1. And when you look at the frequency, EF0 is 52.8% of tornadoes. EF1 is 32.9, let's say 33% of tornadoes. Now, because I know I've heard of a part of a roof being ripped off, definitely not EF0. So that's where I'm going with EF1. So we'll see, I guess, either at 11 p.m. or tomorrow if I was correct in estimating that this tornado, this alleged tornado, I'll be correct there, that this alleged tornado is a confirmed EF1 tornado. We shall see about that. And also, I did not expect in mid to late February to be talking about tornadoes in our area. I was looking forward to talking about snowstorms and 2-foot snowstorms on the way and what kind of storm totals, snow totals we were getting, but nope. Also, we'll do a little advertisement. Raymond, you've mentioned it. Everybody should have something like this, which is a handheld radio that can get the weather radio frequencies. That's my big push for this year, is to get a weather radio. You don't have to get a handheld one like this. This specific one is called a GMRS radio. To this, I have channels 1 through 22 that are in the 462-ish frequency, megahertz frequency. You don't have to get something like that. You can just get a plain weather radio. Those are definitely cheaper because they're just listening, they're not transmitting. So when I turn this on, I'm going to be greeted here with a couple of channels. There's a button here I can press, and it turns on the weather radio function.
Metropolitan area. Skies range from clear to partly cloudy. It was 45 at LaGuardia Airport, 44 at Kennedy, 45 at Newark, and 37 at White Plains. Across Long Island, it was clear, and temperatures were between 40 and 41 degrees. In New Jersey, it was clear with a temperature of 30.
Now it's not coming through very clear at the moment. I think maybe the storms today had something to do with the electrical activity in the atmosphere, which does affect radios. But this was channel or a frequency 162.550. So this, depending on exactly where I hold it, it's either getting the transmission or it's not. So that's the thing with radios. The atmospheric conditions definitely play a factor in the range of these. But again, I would say everybody should have something like this that is either a dedicated weather radio or a handheld radio like I have that can receive NOAA weather radio frequencies. And Raymond, you are correct. Solar weather does affect radios as well. But I would say the main thing from today was because of the thunderstorms that we have mostly electrical activity affecting the frequencies. That's also why I can put into there my local fire dispatch and listen to their frequencies. And it was a little bit choppy, but that's probably because of atmospheric conditions. And the handheld radio I have is a low power radio. So it's not going to be able to, and it's also a short antenna. So it's not going to be able to very clearly gather frequencies. All right. So before we continue, I'm going to gather another drink and then we'll be right back. Let me make sure my thing's going. Here we go.
Like I could just die any minute. Going for a ride down the side. PCH country limit. I don't need a guide. Follow lights. Take me where I want to visit. Are you alive? Or just breathing? Cause I've been living life right. Like I could just die any minute. Going for a ride down the side. PCH country limit. I don't need a guide. Follow lights. Take me where I want to visit. Are you alive? Or just breathing? Flashing red lights, driving at night. Windowless ride, feeling alive. Nothing in sight, forever in flight. Follow those lines, we'll make it this time. Blurry street lights, work as a guide to memories that we're making tonight. Oh yeah, we'll make it tonight. Yeah. I'll do anything that I feel like I wanna do. I'm living life like I got nothing left to prove. No end in sight, just always staying on the move. I'll go all night if that's just what I gotta do. Life's too short to care about what you can't afford. Memories are in what you explore, so just don't be ignored. Go ask for more, go ask for more. Cause I've been living life right like I could just die any minute. Going for a ride down the side. PCH country limit. I don't need a guide. Follow lights. Take me where I wanna visit. Are you alive? Or just breathing? Cause I've been living life right like I could just die any minute. Going for a ride down the side. PCH country limit. I don't need a guide. Follow lights. Take me where I wanna visit. Are you alive? Or just breathing? I'm in a race that everybody's chasing fast. They wanna be that someone on the screen at last. They ain't looking inside for their needs in life. They wanna be liked by everybody in sight. But trust me, being free ain't spotlights. No, it's long nights and it's long fights with yourself all the time to get your mind right. But if you put in the work, you can find the light, alright? I'll do anything that I feel like I wanna do. I'm living life like I got nothing left to prove. No end in sight, just always staying on the move. I'll go all night if that's just what I gotta do. Life's too short to care about what you can't afford. Memories are in what you explore, so just don't be ignored. Go ask for more, go ask for more.
All right, we are back. And let me bring this back up. Oops, wrong one. There we go. Little cheers, everybody. All right, so this was a brief overview of the enhanced Fujita scale. So again, my prediction is EF1. Now it's only, specifically here, 32.98% of tornadoes are EF1s. 86 to 110 miles per hour. Which is in the range of what we were looking at on the radar. I know it said it peaked at 118 miles per hour, which would bring us to EF2. But in terms of damage, it's not considerable damage for whole roofs ripped off frames of houses. It's more of roofs stripped from shingles or plantings, or planting. Small areas of roofs may be blown off. That I know for sure happened. Okay. So, in all in all, it looks like there was a tornado there. Yes, Raymond, definitely. Oh, you're concerned about, yes, the icing parts of the state. Yes, now that this front has moved through that had the tornado, we are going to have a drop in temperatures. So as of right now where I am, it is 39 degrees. Now today, it actually wasn't that bad. It was about mid-40s, I believe. The 39 right now is not bad, but tomorrow, definitely be colder. And look at the percents of EF4 and EF5. Let me bring that back up here. So EF4 and EF5. And again, here, if anybody's familiar with kilometers per hour, you can read that, but I'm going to stick with miles per hour. So EF4, 0.46% of tornadoes are EF4. And then EF5, 0.05%. Also, I don't necessarily agree with the wording here. So we go from minor damage to moderate damage to considerable damage to severe damage to devastating damage and incredible damage. I don't know, the last two, I don't know if I would flip those. What's more severe? Does devastating seem more than incredible? Or does incredible seem more than devastating? I would say devastating would be the highest there. You just noticed that too, yeah. So, my personal opinion, I would flip those. So an EF4 would be considered incredible damage. And then EF5 would be devastating. Because my idea of devastating is it's kind of like clean slating everything. There's just nothing left. But here, incredible damage is that clean slating where there's nothing left. Entire homes are blown away with nothing but the foundation left. Oh, that was the last EF5 tornado. Yeah, that's why the EF5 tornado is 0.05%. But also look at this. EF5 tornadoes are greater than 200 mile per hour winds. it is incredible, as the name says, incredible damage. But I would also say that is devastating. That's stronger than any hurricane. Any hurricane? Asterisk, maybe? All right, so that's just an overview of the enhanced Fujita scale. All right, so let's take a look at the weather story for our area going forward. So this was what to expect Wednesday, February 22nd. I love all the little weather facts everybody's throwing in there. The strongest EF5 F5 was Moore, Oklahoma, I think that was, right? May 3rd, 1999. Raymond, do you know the wind speed from that? Was that what I'm thinking of in the back of my mind, of like the 220 mile per hour winds? That's just to say that out loud sounds ridiculous, but that's actual measurable winds of 200 plus miles per hour. All right, back to the weather story. What to expect for Wednesday, February 22nd. Highs will be right around normal for late February. Temperatures Wednesday night won't drop too much as a warm front approaches. Cool. Estimated winds were 316 miles per hour. I just can't even fathom that. I can't think of what 316 mile per hour winds would be like. I've seen cars that are going like 280 miles per hour, and I've seen what that looks like just doing it like a little flyby. But 316 mile per hour winds. Wow. All right. So now we went from more spring-like a system with the tornado. And now we're going to talk about snow again. So a wintry mix expected across the interior in late afternoon tomorrow, with plain rain at the coast. It depends on exactly where you are. On the coast, plain rain. Interior, I would kind of say that as 15, 20 miles per hour inland. You can see a wintry mix. Slowly changing to all rain by Wednesday night. So that's really just going to be, that's this warm front that's approaching. So as the day progresses into the night, the temperature's not dropping off too much. But because of the warm front, that means the air aloft is going to be warmer. Therefore, it's not going to be starting as snow above us. Yes, it always starts as snow when you go high up enough. But just above the surface, instead of being frozen, it's going to be liquid. Yeah, we could look that up. Oklahoma City, May 3rd. And get the exact wind speed of the Moore F5. Okay. All right, so continuing through here. A few tenths of... I don't like their wording they put there. A few tenths of snowfall accumulation. That's not really complete. A few tenths of an inch of snowfall versus a few tenths of snow. All right, so we'll say it my way. A few tenths of an inch of snow accumulation is possible in northwest locations of New York City. So that would be Rockland, Orange, Putnam, and Westchester. That's northwest of New York City. And then in Jersey, that would be that Sussex County, kind of this light bluish area. versus darker blue-green area. A few tenths of an inch snowfall. Yep. Along with a light glaze of ice. This is what you're talking about. The ice accretion. Winds, light northwesterly winds becoming southerly and increasing in the evening. And if you're interested, there's the almanac information. But let's take a look. Oh. I always keep this in. I don't think I need it anymore. The U.S. Drought Monitor. If we just zoom into the area, the drought's pretty much gone except in this, like, basically Nassau, Long Island, let's say. So just Long Island in the entire area is in a, not a drought, but abnormally dry conditions, that is. But yeah, so we have caught up. Even though we have not had a snowy winter, we have had a good amount of rain, which was needed because the end of 2022, so going into just a month and a half ago, let's say, December of 2022, we were in, I believe, a moderate drought. And now, with the extra rain we've had besides snow, it has brought us back out of the drought, which is a good thing. We're not in a surplus of rain, so the ground's not extra saturated. The ground is, in terms of saturation, exactly what it needs. All right, as we mentioned, Storm Prediction Center. Nothing going into tomorrow. In our area in the Northeast, a marginal risk there going into Texas and Oklahoma. Maybe nothing. Tornado, does it say? Less than 2% all areas. So, really nothing. And even in that area of Texas and Oklahoma, you're not really seeing tornadoes in February. Yes, I know we had a tornado, allegedly, in New Jersey. But yeah, I don't think anything's going to come of that tomorrow for Texas, Oklahoma. All right, let's take a look at the National Hurricane Center. We can't say that after today. Yes, I know that we shouldn't see a tornado. Yep. But, yes, anything is possible. And like the Storm Prediction Center, I'll go back a slide for you. Tornado, there we go. Less than 2% all areas. So, no, it's not zero. I can't say for certain we will not see any tornadoes in the United States tomorrow. However, there is a 98% chance that in the United States there will not be any tornadoes. If we were less than 1%, 99, that's the highest you actually get scientifically. There's no such thing as a certainty in science. Mathematics is actually a little bit different. Because in mathematics, you do have certainties and uncertainties. For instance, 2 plus 2 is always 4. However, in science, I can't say that something will be repeatable every single time. I can say out of, say, 100 different trials, it occurred the exact same way. But maybe if I tried it 1,000 times, one time it went differently. But math is nice because math has certainties. Yeah, you, me, and pretty much every other meteorologist is probably shocked about this New Jersey tornado warning. But New Jersey is just the trash heap and armpit state of the United States, right? So it doesn't matter. Meg was like, hey, because Meg is from New Jersey. But she admits when I'm right. Yeah, you do. So she just admitted that New Jersey is the armpit state of the union. We have fun. Anyway, hurricanes. No hurricanes. Skip that. Now let's take a look at the radar. So that system has made its way out. And now it's actually really clear. And I was pretty shocked at how fast it cleared up, too. Once the storm system made its way through, I looked and I was like, oh, actually, no. Meg told me, it was like, hey, I see the sun kind of coming through below the clouds. And then maybe 20 minutes after that, I looked out and I saw the stars and the moon with the sun setting. That was kind of interesting. Yes, so part of what you're saying, we could, even without climate change, saying going back a century, you could have gotten a tornado technically anywhere in the world. It wasn't likely, like in 1903, say 100 years ago, it was very, very unlikely that a tornado would come through in the Northeast. However, we saw back from 2018 through now, and I always bring up 2018 because you both were live with me in 2018, in May of 2018, when we had that tornado outbreak where we had like 5 or 6 tornadoes coming through just the North New Jersey, Southern New York area. So yeah, tornadoes are becoming a little, even though they're still not frequent, they're becoming more frequent than they have been. Okay, so clear on the radar. That's the gist of this. And on the satellite, let's actually go to infrared. And we could see very clear skies. Just before the stream, I took a peek outside, and it was very clear. And that's kind of the thing. Yes. That was it. You had to Google it. May 15th, 2018. I still have, if you actually look back, Delvin, if you look back through my YouTube channel, and you go back to my 2018 videos in May of 2018, you'll see the live stream I did. Live tornado tracking in that live stream of May 15th, 2018. I don't remember the exact total of tornadoes, but I know it was definitely a tornado outbreak. Interesting point you bring up, Raymond. So yes, because everyone has a camera in their pocket now, you are seeing more tornadoes online. But I also think because of climate change, we are seeing more frequent tornadoes, not just because everyone can record more easily, but because the tornadoes are happening more often. Yes, it is so ancient to look back in 2018. Because that was... Well, actually, it's 6 years ago now. So it was 6 years ago, which, when I think of 2018 sounds like it was only like 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago. But it was 6 years ago. And I remember, right with you two. So I thank you for being longtime viewers of the channel. But I remember also a bunch of other people joined that stream because of what was going on. And yes, Delvin, you also bring up another point, which is more urban sprawl. So less of the country is just open fields. So because the mankind is populating more and more of the land, we are going to be seeing an increased number of tornadoes that are affecting humans. So that is also a good point to bring up. But I also think that it's not just that we're populating more areas, therefore seeing more tornadoes, but just more tornadoes are occurring. That, again, is just a hypothesis at the moment. That cannot be really confirmed because there's not really a way to differentiate between seeing more tornadoes because we have more people to see tornadoes versus there actually just being more tornadoes. That goes back to the point, going back to the COVID, the heart of the pandemic stuff, where a lot of states were saying, yeah, if we test less, we're going to have lower number of cases. That is true. If you test more, you'll see an increase in the number of positive COVID tests. Same idea with tornadoes. The more we populate the country, the more likely it is that we're going to see every tornado that's out there. More highways and more parking lots get built. Yep, you are correct there. That's also where maybe very soon we'll find and confirm the existence of Bigfoot. Did you know I was going there? Yeah, so I brought up Bigfoot. I have had a Bigfoot encounter. I know Bigfoot's out there. They can't hear you. Okay. So, on the surface map here, there was the... What was funny about that? Yeah. Oh, I thought you were laughing. So on the surface map, this was from issued 2223Z. So right there is the cold front. That's actually just before it made its way through. Actually, it was occluding, so it was in the later half of its life in terms of the life cycle of synoptic scale weather systems. All right, let's take a quick look through the forecast models. All right, so starting tomorrow, looks pretty clear everywhere. Maybe actually looks like a little bit of an increased pressure gradient, so we might be seeing a little bit more in terms of wind, so maybe a bit breezy, but that kind of happens the day after a big storm comes through. And then the GFS here on the good old tropical tidbits is showing 18Z. That we're starting to see a little mix of rain and snow. Oh, interesting. Raymond, can you message me that tornado archive site you're talking about? I would love to see tornado archives from the 1800s. So we go from rain and snow to some icing, exactly what the National Weather Service was saying, but it's very brief. So it starts probably maybe a little bit before 18Z, which in standard time is 1 p.m. And then that is done by, say, 7. A little gap, and that starts to make its way north. But when it makes its way north, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Rhode Island. That's actually Rhode Island might see the heaviest of the snow. The smallest state in the country. And for you going into Boston, Delvin, it's a little bit of a tricky call because it's a hard line, and we know weather's not going to be a hard line like this. See if I could zoom in a bit more into there. So that right here, this hard line, I do not think is going to happen. And these sharp 90-degree angles like that, that's not going to happen in weather. Ah, you have sent me stuff. Hang on. Now, to be fair, I did have to erase my phone because it actually had to do with the motorcycle. Ever since I got this new phone, it could not pair to the motorcycle because I restored from a backup from a previous phone that I was using. So now that my inspection is up on the motorcycle in March, so I'm going to have to take the motorcycle out and bring it to get inspected. So I was trying to get the phone paired again with the motorcycle. I had to erase the phone and start fresh with no backup, no nothing. So, let me see if I can find those now. That would be actually, that app I did not download back. Wow. Call of Duty Warzone mobile on iOS. Call of Duty on the iPhone. Download that. Cool. Anyway, let me get back to the... I think it's just called Pages. No. Maybe? From Facebook. Meta Business Suite. That was it. It used to be, I think, just Facebook Pages because that is a page I have set up under my profile. Okay, I am back in there, and yes, I see inboxes. Oh, wow. I see my auto thing has said, hi, thanks for reaching out. I'll reach back to you shortly. Okay, there we go. Tornado Archive. So Raymond, thank you for sending that. I will take a look at this. And also thank you for reminding me there are apps I still have to download. Come on. Sometimes the phone behaves, sometimes it does not. There we go. Okay, awesome. Thank you for sending me that. After that makes its way through... There is a system that's more north into New England. Vermont, Maine, New Hampshire, and Maine, all those. But nothing really until next Tuesday. We're getting north. It could be maybe some, in higher elevations, be some snow or a mix. But most of the area will get rain. And we won't go that far out. It looks like really the biggest thing to worry about is tomorrow. After tomorrow into Thursday, it looks like kind of in the clear. That's Wednesday 18Z. Yep, that makes sense. And then looks like nothing to write home about. It's just still be cold, which is still February. Until here, which is next Tuesday. And this actually has a bit more of a wintry mix through the area. So instead of, actually the European is a little bit colder here when we're taking a look at the Pivotal weather site. Icon will not go out that far. And let me go back to the 180-hour version. Besides tomorrow with that system making its way through. Wait, what? Oh, that was way back. Okay, anyway. Besides that, there's that light system making its way through. Nothing really to write home about until Tuesday, or late Monday into Tuesday, which here looks like a lot of heavy rain. And what we got next here? The NAM's definitely not going to go out that far. Let's just see for tomorrow. Again, in the afternoon tomorrow, that's where it looks like everything's going to start in the tri-state region. North of the Hudson Valley area in New York, it looks like it's to be snow. And then turning into a wintry mix and then just rain going into Thursday. And then just breezy behind it and cold. 3 kilometer NAM. Let's take a look. So here's a good example where the 540 line is going through kind of like central New York and Massachusetts. But the freezing line, we can see right here, definitely with the snow and the rain, is south. So the 540 line is not the freezing line. The 540 line is usually associated with the freezing point. But here, it is not. Yep. So Raymond, depending on exactly which model, the capital area of New York, so Albany-ish, will be seeing a little bit of that mix. So like here, this is showing that at 21Z specifically on the 3 kilometer NAM on the good old Tropical Tidbits, we are seeing snow everywhere in New York. Until we get to 22Z. But then once you get pretty far north, so northern New York along the Canadian border, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, all of that's going to be cold enough to have some pretty heavy snow going through. And then clears out. So here, this is showing overnight Thursday into Friday. There's still another little chance there. And then going through Friday, that's the end. HRRR. Let's take a quick peek at that. So this is actually a little warmer. And then it gets colder. And then it's gone. So they're all very, no, I shouldn't say very, they're all slightly different from model to model. And that's as far out as the HRRR goes. Now let's take a quick peek at some temperatures. Yes, Raymond, you're definitely right there. A cold front with motion of west to east, which is typical for synoptic scale systems. They move from the west to the east. All right, going back here. What run am I on? Oh, I see. The temperatures actually go minus 72 hours. All right, so starting the day on Wednesday. Start looks like in the upper 20s to the low 30s. Getting up into the upper 30s for most of the area. Maybe not touching 40 in a lot of the area. Raymond, you're right. It did look like a solid line of convection. And I would normally say, yeah, that's just going to be a pretty intense line of rain, but no storms. But again, we can't rule that out completely. In terms of the temperatures, overnight Wednesday into Thursday, we get down to near the freezing point. During the day on Friday, actually, we're getting into the 40s and 50s for the New York City area. North of that is a pretty sharp line between the 30s and the 20s. Kind of like splitting New York State in half. And then Friday is very interesting with the temperatures. So Friday morning, we start the day, well, not really the day part, but midnight, going into 1 a.m. in the upper 30s to around the low 40s. And then the temperature keeps dropping overnight through the morning and keeps dropping through the day. So we go from 1 a.m. Friday in the mid 30s to around 40 to in the afternoon at 1 p.m. in the mid to upper 20s. And then overnight Friday into Saturday down into the teens for the temperatures. And that's as far out as this goes. But let's take a look at the Moss. And this will be pretty much the end of the stream here. Cool. It actually saved all the stuff I typed in before, which is awesome. So Saturday for Islip on Long Island has a high of 31. Newark has a high of 33. White Plains, so the main Hudson Valley, is a high of 29. Albany has a high of 23. And Boston has a high of 26. And that was it. So it's going to be cold on Saturday. So we went from some severe weather with a tornado on Tuesday to sub-freezing temperatures on Saturday. That, to me, sounds like climate change. And just to verify here from the National Weather Service, Wednesday, rain likely, possibly mixed with snow after 1 p.m., increasing clouds with a high near 43. Wind chills between 25 and 35. Yeah, because we're going to see the winds. Thursday, chance of rain before 1 p.m. Yep. Friday, mostly sunny. Saturday, 30% chance of snow after 1 p.m. And again, this is for the Westchester County Airport area. This is where it's cold. Yeah, so this looks like Saturday is going to be the coldest day of the week. high near 32. Again, for the Westchester Airport. And then it warms up back to the mid 40s. In the upper 40s by Tuesday. But Tuesday is the day we talked about the rain coming through. 50% chance of rain is what the National Weather Service is saying. I would probably say a much higher percentage chance of rain. But again, it's a week out, so we can't say anything for sure. What was the last thing I had here? Oh, that was the storm reports. We'll get rid of that. Okay. And with that, we are wrapping up the live stream. Actually, let me try one last thing here. I'm going to try something fairly new with like a have a good night screen. Hang on here. We're just adding some text real quick here. I just thought of this at the moment, so I'm just setting it up for everybody. Cool. So that is set and ready to go. Awesome. All right. So I hope everybody enjoyed the conversation. We want to look at the HRRR again before I go. Okay. HRRR. And what were you looking at? I'll look at it before you leave. Get a closer look. Okay. What do you want to see on the HRRR? Let me just bring that back up. All right, so I have the HRRR up here. You just rewind it. Cool. And what do you want to see on the HRRR? I'm just going to run through it. All right, so tomorrow, this is showing 19Z, the end of the run. Okay. Let's get to the end of the run. Here, is this what you're talking about? Right there, because it's in kind of central New York. That line, that's pretty interesting. And this is for what time? 0Z Friday. So this would be 7 p.m. Thursday. That line right there. Very interesting. So let me go to one of the other ones as well. Go to the big old GFS. So that was 0Z Friday. Oh, a new run just loaded. We don't need that yet. 0Z Friday. So it doesn't show a line there. Go back to 0Z Friday. It doesn't show a line. Yeah, on the HRRR, that does kind of look like a thunderstorm line. which is very interesting because usually it doesn't go out far, but the HRRR, being a 1 kilometer high resolution rapid refresh, would incline that it can be more accurate for these smaller scale or mesoscale events. So interesting there. Every other model, it doesn't show a line, but again, it's some sort of average. This is 3-hour average precipitation. The GFS was composite reflectivity. So this is again this would be reflectivity, but this, I believe, the GFS is 100 kilometer resolution, so it's not going to be as accurate or as fine-tuned, I guess you could say. And Delvin, I see Storm of the Century, 1993, will be 30 years old next month. Wow. That means I'm getting old. I'm in my early, going into mid-30s. Technically still early 30s, but that I can't believe. All right, so we took a little peek there. Cool. All right, so that concludes the stream from this evening. March can have snow, but it gets harder, yes. And even, I honestly think this was human activity related. But in 2020, during the heart of the lockdown, or the stay-at-home orders, May of 2020, I had snow where I lived. May, it snowed. Just outside the New York City area, in May of 2020, it snowed. So that also was in correlation with a 10%, a quite substantial measurement, a 10% drop in CO2 levels in the atmosphere. And that was because people were not driving because we were in the lockdown, stay at home. So people were not driving. Flights were canceled, so you were not flying. You weren't even allowed to fly. If I want to head to Florida. I was like, no, you can't. We need a volcanic eruption. We need a volcanic eruption like 1816 or 1887 or something like that. March can have yeah, a volcanic eruption unleashing ash into the atmosphere and blocking the sun, cooling different parts of the earth can cause something like that. But that's a wrap. So Raymond, Delvin, thank you both for joining. It's a pleasure as always. I'm going to actually be able to get very regular now with my Tuesday live streams because I'm going to be working from home in more of a corporate environment with corporate hours for the next month. So I'm super excited for that. So you'll be seeing me a lot more, and I'll probably be able to get a lot more videos done too. So I might not have a video tomorrow, but I'm going to try and get, if you are interested, a Full Throttle Thursday video out this Thursday on the Livewire. I might be doing like a multi-part series on that, but it's going to be a review. Because March of 2023, so coming up very shortly, is going to be a whole year that I've had my Livewire, and it's a whole year of riding a motorcycle. Granted, I haven't rode a motorcycle in the past few months because I have it away in my studio that you'll see in the video for storage for the winter. But it's been a year since I started riding a motorcycle and a year since I bought a motorcycle. So I might have that come out this Thursday. If not, it will be next Thursday. And then I'll definitely be more regular with the Tuesday live streams, normally games and storms, versus just a weather video. But be on the lookout for that. I'll be a bit more regular for the next month, and I am very excited for that. All right, have a great rest of your evening, Raymond, and you as well, Delvin. And anybody new, have a great rest of your evening. And also, if you're new to the channel and you enjoy the content you're seeing, feel free to hit that subscribe button below and the bell icon right next to that so you get notified when I go live like this or I upload videos like a little short YouTube short on the weather, or I upload a video on like the motorcycle or the Tesla or anything like that. All right, so have a great rest of your evening, everybody. This is meteorologist Andrew Pinero. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all in that next video.